W Talk, where we bring inspiring women from all walks of life. Catch us live at RTM Click and also Trax FM's official Facebook page every Friday and be inspired. 11:15 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. Only on Trax FM, your favorite station.
11:15 a.m. on the clock right now. It's Els Dines with you. This is Trax Momentum. And right now, of course, we have W Talk on Trax. You can head on over to our Facebook page at Trax FM Official. We are live right now. And like I mentioned earlier on, we do have a guest in the studio with us today to talk to us about the Housewives Social Security Scheme. We have Rozilla binti Muhammad, the head of project of Housewives Social Security Scheme, PERKESO. Good morning.
Hi.
Hi. Right, how are you today?
Yeah, great.
Yeah?
Okay.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm good.
Okay.
So, you've heard one of my producers say you do have to sing a song, right? Oh, no, I'm just kidding. But, okay, so obviously you are involved in you are the head of quality unit in PERKESO. And, can you please elaborate what is Housewives Social Security Scheme, like in layman term, to those of you tuning in right now, you don't know or you want to know more about this. So in layman term, what is Housewives Social Security Scheme?
Okay, Els, the government introduced the Housewife Social Security Scheme, and we want it to be called as SKSSR.
Okay.
Under the Housewife Social Security Act 2022 to safeguard the welfare of the housewives and by providing social protections against any domestic injury or invalidity while managing the household. And this social protection provided by this SKSSR is necessary,
right,
as the injuries sustained or diseases suffered by housewives could result in permanent disability or invalidity.
So that's basically what Housewives Social Security Scheme is.
Yeah.
All right. So what is the age range, who to be eligible for this scheme, this Housewives Social Security Scheme?
Okay, all women else, women who are single,
right,
married or unmarried, managing household on a full-time or part-time basis,
Okay.
And this includes single women, wives, divorcees, widows, mothers, and as well as single mothers.
Right. So do I need to be like having some kind of pay or something like that? Like what are the requirements?
The requirements, you should be at least at the age of 55, and you must be who are Malaysian. You must be Malaysian and at least holding a PR status.
All right. So the age range is basically 55 and above.
Yes, correct.
Okay. So younger than that also cannot lah.
Can lah.
So it's like, no, because you said
the age limit is 55.
After 55 cannot.
So
that means I can apply for
this. Of course.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Got that. So okay, we're talking about the Housewives Social Security Scheme. So could you share what are the benefits of this scheme? Like, why would I want to sign up for this scheme?
Okay, Els, this scheme actually offers domestic injury protection, which covers domestic injuries due to any accident to the housewife, due to and while managing her household, including her dependents.
Right.
And beside that, this scheme also provides invalidity pension, invalidity protection, which covers invalidity that has been certified by the medical assessors. Means the under this domestic injury protection, we have medical benefits, we have permanent disablement benefits, and physical rehabilitation and dialysis.
Right.
And under invalidity protection, we have morbid allowance, and as well as the rehabilitation and dialysis facilities as well. And for death that falls either under domestic injury or invalidity, we have survivor's pension and also funeral benefit for the dependents.
All right. So that's covering quite a lot, right?
Yeah, right.
All right. So can you elaborate a little bit more on some of the, like you already mentioned the benefits and stuff like that. So what are other specific things that we need to know about the scheme?
I mean, the scheme protects you from while you are managing your household, like taking the taking the children to schools, cooking.
Right.
So when anything happens to you, we have coverage for that.
Oh, so let's say I'm like living alone, and then I accidentally cut my hand when I'm cutting the apple or whatever. So that covers as well.
Yes, that covers. And before this, it is not covered. You know, while we are managing our household.
Yeah.
We are covered if we are employed. But when we go back home, when we do our house chores, we are not covered anything.
Yeah.
So this is the protection that we give you. And if anything happen during you are doing your house chores, you are covered. And if anything happen, you can go to the hospital, and we will take care of the bills.
So it's kind of like it sounds like a little bit like insurance, right?
Correct.
All right. Okay, so coming back, we'll talk more about the scheme. We will also be... We are on Facebook Live right now, so you can head on over, ask any questions you want to know about the scheme. It is called the Housewives Social Security Scheme. And you can leave your questions on there. We'll be answering that in a bit at Tracks FM Official. Be back in a bit.
Good time starts now. Tracks FM.
11:27 a.m. on the clock right now. This is W Talk on Tracks, and we're talking to Rozilla, the head of project of Housewives Social Security Scheme, PERKESO. We are talking about the Housewives Social Security Scheme. So if you're tuning in right now, if you're interested, you can head on over to our Facebook page at Tracks FM Official, because we're on Facebook Live right now. So if you have any questions you would like to ask, you can leave your comments and your questions on there, and later on we'll answer that. But right now though, Puan, so why is it called Housewives? Because just now when we talked about the eligibility, right, you mentioned that it's available to all women until the age of 55. Provided you are a PR in Malaysia, you are Malaysian and citizen. So why is it called Housewives? Because I'm not a housewife, but I can apply, you see. So why?
Okay, first, when we want to introduce the scheme, we want it to open it to only housewives. But we want it to open to everyone,
right?
Because you see, just to share with our Tracks FM listeners, in 2021, it's about 68% female population in this country are not part of the labor force. Okay. What it means that these women were missing out the social protection coverage that PERKESO provided, because we provide only for working individuals in the labor force, including the self-employed workers.
Right, so that's only like 61%.
68%.
68%, right. Okay.
So 4 years, housewives are left vulnerable to domestic injuries while performing household chores such as driving kids to school, doing groceries, cooking, caring for elders at home, and many more without protection, without any protection at bay. So if they were involved in accident, they might need to fork out their own money to pay the bills. You know, that is why we open up to every woman in Malaysia.
Right.
So long that you are Malaysian or actually at least holding a PR status, and the age limit is 55.
All right, that's pretty cool actually. And just now off air we were actually having a pretty interesting conversation that it's sort of like insurance, right? It is sort of kind of like it, and you mentioned that, you know, some people, we're not insured after work, we're not insured at home, right? So like what you mentioned, we have to fork out our own money if we ever get into like a minor accident lah, you know, like unforeseen circumstances, right? So okay, anyway, coming back to our interview, what about those women who are unable to afford to contribute to the scheme, especially single mothers and those in the rural areas? Like, would there be any assistance rendered to these group of women?
Okay, we have under the government initiative that the government is providing to 150,000 women who are actually B40, who actually in the e-Kasih program,
right,
and subsequently subscribe to iSuri EPF, and they are eligible under this initiative, a government initiative. For those who are not eligible, can't afford, they are eligible under the initiative, the government initiative, for 150,000 women out there.
All right. And so just now you did mention that this will be the first ever, right? It will be launching in December. It's the first ever program it's called the Housewives Social Security Scheme. It's the first ever, right?
The first ever in Asia.
Yeah, the first ever in Asia. So this is something big, actually. So how long did it take for you guys to prepare this whole scheme? Like how long was the preparation?
Since it was announced in the budget in 2022, in budget 22, we started to prepare for this scheme, and we are actually making it legislative.
Right.
And the bill has just passed in August 2022, and since then we are actively sharing the information.
So you guys have been planning since August 2022. This whole
the bill passed, the act. Bill has passed in August. Has passed through Dewan Negara in August 2022, and since then we plan for the
this whole scheme,
not the whole scheme. I mean the media interviews. Just to reach out to people.
All right, that's pretty cool. So just now you did mention like some of the benefits of this scheme, right? So right now, what are the illnesses covered under this scheme?
Okay, if you are talking about illnesses, as per se, we are covering for invalidity. Invalidity is actually defined as a serious disablement or morbid condition, a critical illness, like and it is either incurable or not. And like for instance, end-stage renal failure, heart failure, stroke, to name a few.
Right. Okay. So those are some of the it covers basically all illnesses.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Very cool. So, according to the Human Resource Minister, this insurance protection scheme for housewives will be available from December 1st. Yeah. Like you mentioned to me as well, this year. So it's launching December 1st, 2022. How and when can the women apply for their claims? In the event of any casualties or injuries or accidents. We
haven't mentioned about the contribution.
So the contribution.
Okay, the contribution rate is actually 10 ringgit per month. It's only 10 ringgit per month. Yeah. But you have to pay in advance for 12 consecutive months. That is 120 ringgit a year.
Okay. All right.
Okay. And once the housewife is registered and paid the contribution, the protection will automatically started for the period of 12 months onwards. And in case of any casualties while managing the household, the housewife can seek treatment at the clinic or hospital and submit the domestic injury claim to the nearest PERKESO together with the bills, the medical bills and the medical reports.
So all will be taken care of lah.
Yeah.
Wow. Sounds really it's very simple to understand, and it's very sounds easy lah, right? So like you mentioned just now, the criteria is that you have to pay in advance, right? 1 year in advance?
You have to pay 1 year in advance.
Yeah, the whole full payment, right?
Yes, 120 ringgit in advance. Yes.
There we go. So the duration given to submit the application for their claims, what's the duration? Like, let's say if I want to apply now, what's the duration?
What was the duration that you're getting the claim?
Yeah.
You have to submit the claims, and we have to process the claims and investigate. If should there is nothing that we actually should everything is okay, then we should pay the claim by we are paying the bills by 30 days.
Okay, 30 days. Oh, right. Okay, there we go. So coming back, we'll be talking more about the Housewives Social Security Scheme in 2023. So if you have any questions, you can head on over to our Facebook page at Tracks FM Official to leave your questions, leave your comments, come say hi to a guest and stuff like that. We'll be back in a bit. 11:42 a.m. on the clock right now, and we're talking. For those of you tuning in right now, we've been talking about the Housewives Social Security Scheme, the benefits of it, and also who's eligible. But right now, though, can you tell us more about what are PERKESO's plans for Housewives Social Security Scheme in 2023? Because we all know it's launching December 1st, so that's quite quick. So what are PERKESO's plans for Housewives Social Security Scheme in 2023?
Okay, Els. Our goal is actually once the scheme has been introduced in December 2020, the 1st December 2022, is to get as many housewives as possible in the country to be protected under the scheme.
Yeah.
And we believe that the scheme is welcomed by almost everyone.
Of course.
Especially by those underprivileged who cannot afford to buy personal insurance because of the high cost.
Yeah.
And for the past 51 years, PERKESO has been protecting workers either informal or in the formal or informal sectors.
Right.
And this introduction to this social protection for housewives through this scheme allows individuals who are not categorized as workers to be protected by PERKESO for the first time in the history.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Yes.
This is quite an amazing achievement, I would say, because it's the first in Asia as well. So where it's a scheme just for women.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, there we go. So where can the public find out more information on the Housewives Social Security Scheme?
Okay, as a matter of fact, we have started to introduce Housewives Social Security Scheme to the public via our media statement and social media posts after the Finance Minister announced for the scheme in 2022. And at the same time, PERKESO also actively share information actually about the scheme in our social media platforms, to educate the public about the scheme.
Right.
And through media interviews with our YB Minister and as well as our CEO, Datuk Sri Dr. Muhammad Azman. And once the scheme is launched in December 2022, the public can obtain the information about this scheme from various sources and platforms, including PERKESO website.
So that's www.perkeso.com. Right?
Yes.
Right, there we go. So quickly, before we let you go, what's your message to our listeners? What would you like to let our listeners know?
Okay, Els, my last word. I just hope that everyone who listens to this talk today will share what the scheme is all about and the benefit that we offer to the contributors. Tell your family, your mothers, sisters, daughters, and as well your relatives, friends, and colleagues. And PERKESO expects as many women as possible in Malaysia to be covered by the scheme. It is a voluntary scheme, and with 120 ringgit for 1 year contribution, women will be protected against domestic injury and invalidity by the KSSR. And so help us to spread the words.
Right, exactly. There we go. We've been talking to Rozilla binti Muhammad, the head of Project of Housewives Social Security Scheme PERKESO. There we go. I've got the news coming up at 12. Be back after that.
Tracks FM.